I'm really excited because I'm in IBM. I work on Power BS. I get to meet all these different partners. I'd love to hear from you, Bo. Tell me more about Evolving Solutions and how they're affecting technology in the world today.
Sure. Evolving Solutions is a technology solutions company. We started our business really around the IBM portfolio almost 25 years ago. And over time, we've grown our skills throughout the data center, throughout infrastructure and software. And then over the last couple of years, been really focusing in on hybrid cloud. And for us at Evolving Solutions, we really focus in on the notion that cloud is not a place, it's a set of disciplines. And we go to market with our clients really focusing around what we call our hybrid cloud vision. And at the core root of that, we really talk about modern operations. And for us, as we work with clients around this notion of modern operations, we really are talking about the fact that every organization, no matter how small or how long they've been in business, has investments in their core technology. However, they're all being missioned with also transforming their businesses and moving and looking towards the future. So as we look at, how do we help them optimize and modernize their operations to free up the time and resources that they might be spending on their core to really reinvest and shift those resources, whether that's time, staffing, or financial resources, to really focus in on the future. And at the base of our strategy there is what we call modern platforms. And core to that is the IBM Power Systems family. And that could be whether that's on premise, in a hosting provider, in a third party provider, or public assets in the IBM public cloud. So Jose, what does hybrid cloud mean to you?
That's a great question, Bo. When I'm thinking about hybrid cloud, I think the best way to sum it up is that you've got both a private and a public setting, and within both of these settings, you can move your applications however you see fit. And this hybrid cloud approach is very strong for us as a systems organization within IBM because we know the hardware, we know what it takes to run a large scale and very resilient infrastructure. And now we're really expanding that with our capabilities in Power Virtual Server. So we've started at a different pace than our competitors. Our competitors are going the opposite way, right? They've expanded over to a public environment. Now they're cutting back and trying to see how they can start to drop hardware in and supplement for this hybrid cloud approach. But we are on a very strategic perspective, in my opinion, for how we can deliver more value to our clients. Right now, we're seeing the trend is moving towards hybrid multi-cloud. Most organizations that I talk to not only have a hybrid cloud approach, but they also have multiple vendors that they operate within. When I'm talking to these vendors, it really starts to break out three different things that they're focused on when they're talking about hybrid cloud. The first one being, how can they move between these things? What is my movement between my on-prem environment as well as my public environment? How am I connecting between all of the assets that I have? And then finally, how am I keeping consistency? These are the three different focuses that myself and my organization are really striving to make as streamlined as possible for our end clients.
I think that makes a lot of sense. At Evolving Solutions, we talk very similar to that as we talk about cloud's not a place, it's a set of disciplines. Our notion is it should not matter where the application resides or what it's running on, right? You should have that same consistent experience, and so should the end users, whether that's on-prem or in a public cloud offering. So that's awesome and lines right up with the IBM strategy. And as you look at Power Systems specifically, can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on what offerings are available around Power Systems as clients look at cloud offerings?
When we're talking about a hybrid cloud environment for Power Systems, there is, obviously the on-prem, and that's where our clients can start to tap into it. Then you've got my offering, which is Power Virtual Server. Power Virtual Server extends that arm of value for the client. So if they are running whatever they're running on-prem and then being able to extend into a public environment for additional capacity, let's say you wanted to scale up without having to drop a brand new box in your environment and all the sales process, all the installation process, all the time that it takes to do so. You can skip all that and just start spinning up VMs as you need, and then really leverage our public environment to do so. Furthermore, we've got a lot of automation around Ansible, and now with OpenShift as part of our platform, our clients are really looking at how they can scale out their environment using Power VS as well as the rest of the IBM Power Systems portfolio.
And you mentioned Red Hat there, and as we look at Evolving Solutions and how we're working with our clients, the Red Hat stack has become more critical over the last 24 months. What does the acquisition of Red Hat, mean for you and the Power Systems family? And as you talk about the offerings there, can you elaborate a little bit more on how you're trying to integrate and work with the Red Hat stack?
Sure. So, looking at Red Hat, they do bring a wealth of knowledge as well as all of the different assets that they currently work on. When it comes to my offering in particular, we're really trying our best to accommodate all of the different workloads that they can run. So anything that has to run on RHEL, for example, we're trying to expand that into our ecosystem, make sure that anyone that can run RHEL on-prem can scale it out with Power Virtual Server. There's a lot of different work that's happening right now behind the scenes on how to modernize with OpenShift and being able to leverage all of the existing tools, but we are working on getting a more complete roadmap on that.
That's fantastic. And I think that's key. I mean, right, there's a lot of offerings around Red Hat today, but part of the strength I think we see with IBM and with Red Hat coming together, it's the long-term roadmap. So helping clients on that journey, no matter where they're at, and it's not just a point in time at this point. So I'm liking what we are seeing with IBM and Red Hat together, integrating that across the entire product portfolio. And over the next couple of years and really getting that clarity for clients, I think that'll help drive clients on their transformation journey.
Agreed.
And I know you mentioned earlier some of the explosive growth that you've been having across the, specifically the Power VS offering and the cloud offerings. Can you maybe talk about a few client examples and where you're seeing clients driving real value from the offering?
Sure thing. So, like I mentioned, I've been with this offering since the inception of it. I was in the room when they were talking about mocking it up, and then they put me in charge of its expanse. So I love to talk to how we've expanded, how quickly we've expanded. So within the last 2 years, I've been able to set up 12 data centers in seven different countries across 4 different geographies. Now, doing that is already an impressive feat, but doing that within a pandemic has been a challenge that we faced head on, and we did so with the support of our geos. As soon as we put down a couple data centers in a geo, we had the other ones popping up asking when that capability could come into play for their clients, and that's really what propelled us forward. Now, when those geos came to us, the main things that they're talking about in terms of use cases, it really breaks off into 3 different use cases, and let me explain each of those. So the first one is the ability to use this sort of service as a testing environment. If I have an on-prem environment and I want to do dev and test, the way I manage my resources, it might be a process to divvy out some resources to do dev and test. That is no longer the case, right? You can do dev and test in a public environment. Leave your mission critical, running mission critical on-prem. You don't need to worry about touching that, moving that around. You can lean on Power VS to give you that safe and secure sandbox environment to do any of your dev and test. Or if you want to test out new versions of AIX or new hardware, we have P9s in our data center, and now we're planning for the P10 launch. So looking at what a flexible environment can mean to your dev and test scenarios really brings a new sort of work stream for a lot of our clients. Now, the second use case that we see a lot of, this is the bread and butter of our offering. This is being able to run mission critical workloads in a public environment. So all of that value that our clients get from systems, the performance, the scalability, the reliability, they know and love it on-prem. And now we set out, this was the main mission for us. We set out to make and replicate that same experience, that same value in a public-facing environment. So our clients can always lean over. So some of the use cases that I've seen, clients might be moving some of their environment over there for dev and test, or some clients might be moving an entire mission critical workload over to Power Virtual Server. That gives them the flexibility. So whenever I talk to my clients, especially on some of these wins, they're mostly taken aback by how flexible they've become. There is no longer a large capital expense. They are paying what they need when they need it. So it's very at the moment, right? And some of the clients that we've spoken with are at in-between stages. They're considering a strategic change, whether that's changing how they're consuming capacity or maybe a shift to a different for example, S/4HANA, these are things that clients are trying to move towards, but they want the flexibility in the now so that they can pivot accordingly. And that's what Power BI really gives to them. And then finally, I've got DR. DR is the hottest one. So I talk about mission critical being our main core, but when we first set it out, a lot of clients came to us and said, I would love to use your environment as a landing site for anything that were to go wrong with my current on-prem environment. This is also a really great opportunity for our clients, as well as our MSPs and CSPs, that they can leverage Power VS as an active environment anywhere in our active data centers to be that landing site in case of any disaster.
That's awesome. I think we're seeing very similar things from our clients, and you mentioned a lot of different workloads there, capabilities. One of them specifically was S4 HANA. Can you talk a little bit about why a client might want to consider the IBM cloud offerings for S4 HANA?
Sure thing. So this was, I bring that up because it was a very specific client. This was a client that worked in equipment across a lot of different industries. They did research in semiconductors and industrial work. They had been running their SAP environment for over 10 years and have absolutely zero desire to move off of Power for SAP. They realized that the performance that they got with Power for their SAP workloads was bar none the best that they could get. So zero desire. However, they did have some capacity issues that they wanted to address as they started to prepare for S4HANA, and they wanted a place to put their entire AIX workload. So they used our landing spot to push that. Right now, we are able to run SAP workloads. So if a client is looking to run SAP at a more flexible rate, they can really leverage Power VS to do so.
And I think that's key, because if you look at where a lot of clients, like you've said, have invested in power systems over the years and have run their mission critical workloads, one of the most, if not the most critical for a lot of organizations is SAP. And so with SAP's shift to HANA and how clients are going on that journey, it's awesome to see the two married together in a different way that clients can consume that capability and that type of offering for their business.
Right. And Bo, I will tell you, only IBM has SAP HANA certification, giving our clients unprecedented access to the largest and most demanding SAP HANA workloads. It is the most resilient and secure platform for businesses at the enterprise scale when it comes to SAP deployment. So we're very happy to push this out. It has been something that we were, always working in the background. So we're very proud to talk to it and very excited to see clients taking advantage of it.
And Jose, as we look towards the future, as you work with clients, towards the future, how do you recommend they get started on their cloud journey? And many of them probably already are. They're in some different facet, but as you're looking at their mission critical workloads and what Power VS and the Power Cloud offerings can offer, how do you recommend they get started with IBM?
Well, my first recommendation is reach out to your rep, or in your case, reach out to Evolving Solutions and talk to them about what opportunities they have. So if you've got any sort of
plan, that's great.
Well, if you've got any workload around AIX and IBMI, Linux, SAP, think about what a flexible environment can mean to you. Are you trying to get out of the data center business, reduce your TCO? These are all concepts that our clients are always pursuing, and something that is always initiating conversations with Power VS. So reach out to your IBM rep, reach out to your Evolving Solutions rep, and then get that conversation going. Once they do, they're coming to me, right? And I'm supplementing them with whatever information they need and trying to get you the best deal possible.
And I think that's key. We have a lot of deep talent and expertise within Evolving Solutions, but part of our core values, be a team player. And with that, we extend that to IBM, and we consider the IBM team really an extension of us, and really support for our clients. So appreciate the opportunity here. And for clients that might be interested in talking or learning more, feel free to email us at hybridcloud@evolvingsol.com, and we'd be happy to engage.